Welcome. Kia ora, my clothes brush. Welcome, everybody. Salam Fudge. Philly. Hey, Faye. How are you? Yeah, good to see you too, Fudge. Hey, welcome, Pickle Rock, Prof, Unlucky, Street Smarts, Orpheus, Seesaw. Welcome, everybody. Hey, Doug. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. Salam, Scary. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Hey, Cats Are Comrades, welcome. This is a treat. Noisy at dinner time? Hell yeah. We're back in the mornings. I'm going to stream a couple hours in the mornings and a couple hours at night again, because I know good morning from so-called Australia. Good morning, world. What time is it there? It's 10:20 a.m. Hey, studios, kia ora. I'm gonna do this because I think a lot of people. Hey, welcome, fiery, welcome. Yeah, I'll do this because I think I'm missing a lot of people in the mornings, and just the evening lives just cuts out so many people. So I'll do both. Hey, Sarachi. I'll do a couple hours in the morning and a couple hours in the evening. Hey, Anne. Hey, Shiny. Welcome, Joy. Welcome, everybody. We've just got to keep it, I've got to keep it pretty chill. I can't, I can't be too controversial. I can't be myself. Because if I'm too much myself, my TikTok account will get banned. So I better tone it down a little bit for a while. Anyway, we're back. Hey, Shanna. Yeah, I can't watch nighttime streams because it's actually 1 a.m. for me. So this is awesome. Miss you guys. Oh, welcome, Pickle Rock. Free speech in America. Yeah. Hey, Lemon Poppy. Hey, Trey. Folks, we're back at this time. After you're not allowed to speak the truth. Yeah. A lot of people were asking about the daytime streams because we used to do 2 streams, you know. So we'll just keep it lighter. I won't do a big 4-hour sort of stream in the mornings. I'll do 2 hours and then 2 hours in the evening as well. All right, everybody, let's get into it. We've got a bit to get through. Thank you for being here. Love you all, and yeah, just glad to be back. Really. Kia ora. Haere mai. Welcome. The first story we're going to cover is what's happening in India with this Cockroach Janta Party protests. They're kicking off. I do want to show you guys something. For the morning viewers, just so you know what's going on. So on my LinkedIn, I have been urging, you might have seen the video, I have spoken and asked questions of my brother's company, Air New Zealand. My brother is the CEO of Air New Zealand, and I have been asking a lot of questions about Air New Zealand and their human rights policies, all of this sort of stuff. Publicly doing it because I'm sick of companies like Air New Zealand, parading around like they care about human rights and then forming all sorts of relationships with Moonstar, all sorts of relationships with Leah, all sorts of relationships with leaders like Narendra Singh Modi, right? So I posted this last night, and I'm getting so much backlash. I posted about the protests in Delhi. Hey, Kalyani, welcome. So, Air New Zealand, while you continue to strengthen commercial relationships with Narendra Modi's government, the world is witnessing serious human rights concerns in India, including the use of force against student protesters right now in Delhi. This follows years of deepening strategic and defense ties between India and Israel during the war in Gaza. My question remains unchanged. What human rights frameworks guides Air New Zealand's engagement with governments facing serious human rights concerns? I asked this question days ago. I am still waiting for a response. So I have asked, I have had no response from Air New Zealand. They're just not going to do it. But in the comments, oh my goodness, I'm being called anti-national. There's a lot of violent threats in my comments for that post on LinkedIn. Oh my goodness. It is not good. Not good. But just know that we're holding power to account here in the noisy community. We're gonna be. Hey Kay, welcome. We're gonna be holding companies to account and asking them to speak up. Like they all virtue signal human rights. I want to understand what policies they have. So. Hey, Susika. Welcome, everybody. Okay. Let's start off with the India protests. Hey, Bubbles. I'm good, thank you. Hey, Khalid. Good to see you too, Kay. Lou Mama. Welcome in, everybody. Oh, my gosh. So many familiar faces and names. This feels great. You don't know what you've got until it's gone. And then, yeah, this is definitely great. Okay, let's keep going. Here we go. The India protests, everyone. Hey, Trudy.
Thousands of protesters are gathering in the Indian capital, demanding the resignation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his education minister. Hundreds of police have been deployed, with the crowd expected to march towards Parliament. For nearly a month, protesters, mainly students, have been demonstrating in New Delhi. It follows back-to-back.
It's been a while since I've caught one of your lives. You're on early. Yeah, Susika, I'm coming back to morning and evening lives now. Instead of doing 1 4-hour block, I'll do like a 2-hour block in the morning and 2 hours in the evening.
Scandals related to examination paper leaks and cancelled tests. They're demanding sweeping education reforms.
The government is scared of us. They don't want to talk to us because they will have to answer our questions. They have no answers. They're only interested in taxpayers' money. They're taking the public for a ride, which is wrong, and we will continue to speak out.
We want answers, accountability, some reciprocation from the government. There should be negotiations, even if there is no resignation of the government minister.
Neha Punia is in New Delhi following the latest developments.
You sound so tired. Yeah, it's been a pretty full on couple of months in terms of just activism and just so much stuff going on, guys. So much stuff.
Just a few streets away from that protest site in the heart of New Delhi, and the calm here belies what's happening there. Since the early hours of Monday morning, we've seen a steady stream of protesters who've made a beeline to that site. We've seen in the last few hours numbers swell considerably. It's now almost impossible for cars to drive on the roads leading up to Jantar Mantar because
the poor cars. The poor cars can't drive through. Oh, no. How will we ever survive without these poor cars being able to drive through the crowd of children who are asking for a better education system? Okay?
Everyone who can seems to be making their way on foot to that protest site. We've seen protests break out even inside metro stations, with the government having sealed the exit points for some metro stations that are close to Jantar Mantar. But that's not stopped protesters. They've been getting off a few stations away and then walking, all the while chanting slogans, holding up the Indian flag. We've heard reports of a scuffle that broke out at the protest site a little while ago. Delhi police, which has deployed personnel in huge numbers along with riot police forces, have said that this is misinformation, that no scuffle is broken out. But videos that are circulating online tell a very different story of riot police forces using canes to push people back. The Cockroach Janata Party that's organizing this protest has called this a huge show of strength. They're estimating that 10,000 people gathered there, with more people still coming in. It's
because I posted this on LinkedIn, people are calling me anti-national. Like, Indian people are calling me anti-national. Bro, like I'm a New Zealander. I'm from New Zealand. And the craziest thing for me is white New Zealanders will tell me to go back to where I came from, and the people that are where I am from are telling me that I'm anti-national. I don't belong anywhere. Oh my gosh.
Certainly looks like a sea of humanity. Drone shots that have been captured off Delhi this morning show entire streets full of young people who are marching, demanding accountability from the government.
Hey, 8-bit supercomputer. Oh my gosh. This is massive, guys. This protest is so huge.
India's government is facing its biggest youth-led challenge in years. Thousands of protesters from what were known as the...
Damn, they got to deport us to the sea, I guess. Chat, let's keep it 100, please. I'm like one strike away from losing my TikTok account. So even all chats, even YouTube, even Twitch, we all have to keep it pretty chill, because if I read one of your comments and it's not like, yeah, just be chill. Yeah, of course you can express yourselves, but just be chill.
The cockroach movement have taken to the streets of New Delhi demanding that the education minister resign. On Monday, tension escalated near Parliament and protesters were met with...
This is the first real, like, massive protest like this, like a real, hey, Drea, hello, welcome. How are you doing? It's so good to see all of you, honestly. This is the first real sort of, what can I say, revolution-esque moment in India. We've been seeing it in Nepal. We've been seeing it in Bangladesh. little bits of it in Pakistan, but in India, not really. And this is looking likely with this cockroach Janta Party.
Tear gas and a heavy police crackdown.
Chaos on the streets of New Delhi as baton-wielding police charge protesters. Thousands, mostly students, had gathered near India's parliament to demand the resignation of Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan over exam irregularities, including leaks of questions and technical glitches.
I have come here because the rotten system is not taking action and cannot see the pain of the students. So many people have gathered here from different states of India, and I decided to be part of it.
I voted for this government, so I think it's accountable to answer our questions. That's the basic right, human right that I deserve, and I think I'm liable for whatever is happening because I voted this government, and hence I'm here to ask for answers.
Behind Monday's outlawed protests was the youth-led Cockroach Janta Party, or CJP. The movement decided to own the name after the Supreme Court Chief Justice used the insect to insult young people he said are unemployed by choice. They're angry over repeated scandals in India's education system, one of them recently forcing millions of aspiring medical students to resit exams last month after questions were leaked in advance. That followed another failure of the online marking system for high school tests. The leader of the CJP recently staged a hunger strike in opposition to the government and says people have grown tired of being scapegoated for bureaucratic failures, as reflected in the group's soaring popularity since launching in May.
In 24 hours, we received more than 50,000 members. And on Instagram, we crossed almost 1.2 million just in a day. That is when I realized maybe the youth here is trying to send a message, is trying to give a message. And I tried to understand, like, what are they trying to say? I tried to interact with them, and they told me that they are really dissatisfied with all the existing political parties. And it's because nobody listens to them, nobody even talks about them.
Amid the tear gas and police arrests, the CJP said its leaders had met with a senior minister on Monday and submitted a letter spelling out their demands. But until young people feel their government is acting on their concerns, these so-called cockroaches plan to remain underfoot.
And joining me now is Rumila Sen. Rumila teaches comparative politics and South Asian politics at Columbia University. Rumila, it's good to have you with us. You know, one of the striking things about these demonstrations is who is protesting. I mean, these aren't traditional political activists. I mean, who are these young people? And do we know why have they decided that they've had enough?
Yes. Well, thank you for having me here today. I think the protest started with the young people, but it is no longer just the young people. With Sonam Wangchuk and others joining. It has now sort of been a more Indian protest of the middle class, the ordinary people who are upset with how things are.
As you say, this is really about something much larger, about opportunity, unemployment, and a feeling that the system is no longer working. Am I reading that correctly?
I think yes. You know, this is one way of looking at it is as something of a Gen Z uprising that happened in South Asia, as you know, in Bangladesh, in Nepal. It also went beyond the region in Indonesia, in other parts of the world.
Hey, on the shelf,
so
long
there
time.
Is this general feeling among the
Tani,
young people that
I've been streaming at night.
Drying up. And
but
also,
I've started streaming in the mornings, New Zealand time again.
Elites, what kind of fear and anxiety regarding their education and employment these young people are facing. And this is not just India, but in other parts of the world as well.
Anti-wash!
And in India, it particularly started, as you know, with this comment from the Chief Justice of India that some of these not so well-credentialed young people from not so well-known universities are like cockroaches. So this reference to cockroach, you know, was an insult, but, you know, they just sort of reclaimed this insult, which is again similar to other Gen Z movements, particularly in Bangladesh. You know, when the Prime Minister insulted the young protesters as sort of the fifth columnists, the betrayers of national cause, they internalized that and made that their power. So in this case, it started with that, but it's more than just the education, or how this rich poor divide or the generational divide, the general anxiety. It is now also about accountability. It's about accountability of the elected politicians. It's not unheard of in Indian tradition that when, for example, there is an accident in the railways, the railway minister would resign. So when there are these repeated, leaks, and there was this on-screen marking controversy, there was this corruption in the tenders. The reason that these not so suited company was in the first place
Noisy, please don't haunt my dreams.
for this on-screen marking.
I can't guarantee anything.
A whole web of grievances that have now come together, and it is not just the young people; it's the parents too.
I want to come back to the name of this movement, if you will, Cockroach Janta Party. I think, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I mean, what you're saying is the students have basically taken a word that was used as a pejorative, as an insult, and they're reclaiming it.
Hey, by the way, that's like me reclaiming, me using curry and reclaiming that word. Because Indians have been in Aotearoa being called curry munchers and all of this stuff. So when I call other Indian people house curries or something like that, it is a reclamation of a term that's been used as a derogatory term against me many times and against Indian people in this country. So yeah, I mean, reclaiming these terms, even my name, the noisy immigrant, was something that was used against me in a derogatory way to get me to shut up about and stay quiet about politics. As an immigrant, I shouldn't be talking about politics in another country. It doesn't concern me, So I reclaim that name too. These are really important things. Reclaiming these slurs that are used against you to label you are very important. It's a strength, not a weakness.
And it's now, the headliner for what they're trying to do and change.
Yes, I think it's very smart. It's very creative, from the perspective of social movements research that we know. This is very, very effective. For the longest time in India and in other parts of the world, there is this generational anxiety that there are more and more old people in power who are making decisions, and the youth are sort of alienated from the decisions that are going to affect their future. And that is everything from education to environment, and in many other countries as well. But when the leader of this movement, who was at that time, I think, here in Boston, he sent out a tweet at that time that said, what if all the cockroaches came together? In response to that very derogatory and very ill-advised and comment that was in very bad taste by the Chief Justice of India. And that got a lot of response, and it eventually became very popular because there was this growing sense that the rich, the powerful, the successful sort of look at these youth from lower caste, lower class, the suburban cities of India, not from the capital, not from the fashionable gated community.
By the way, one family in India owns as much wealth as 10% of India's GDP. One family, the Ambani family, owns 10% in wealth of India's GDP. Sophia! I've been streaming at night, Sophia. I'm back in the mornings.
Communities that they are looked down upon as unsuccessful, as if they are responsible for not being successful as those who are now in power, like the Chief Justice of India. So that insult, that feeling of alienation that was now sort of official coming from the Chief Justice of India, that was already there. So that's why
I'm good, thank you, Sophia. It's great to see you too. Yeah, boo-boo. I decided I'd do one live a day because 2 lives was kind of getting way too hard. I was doing, 4 hours a live, and and it was getting too much. So I've decided that I will do 2 lives, but cut it down in half, just so I have time to kind of just recover from the first live. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, honestly. I think doing shorter lives and, getting information across in a shorter amount of time, it might be better. It might be better.
I think it was pretty
great to see you
smart
too,
organizing.
And we saw this crackdown today. I'm wondering, what's your opinion on that? What will that do? The government has agreed to talks.
100%.
Do you think the protesters will see that as a genuine concession, or is this too little too late?
I can't speak
Panda
for
Pie.
the protesters as such, because I have not been in communication with them. But if I look at the evidence in the general literature on social movements on repression, there is systematic evidence, particularly in a democracy, when there is this kind of repression, it just makes the movement stronger, because there are now more people that are going to join and support these people, the young protesters. And
the more a government resists this, the more the movement will grow. Modi has no option but to resist this, and the movement will continue to grow. And it will show a fundamental flaw in the fascism that's currently in India. It will show a fundamental flaw of that fascism. And yeah, this is when change happens. The revolutionary moments that people talk about. But the thing is, for me, it always comes from the global south. The global south, where living standards are so much lower than the West, it's the global south that's having revolutions, not the West is too comfortable. But that will come to the West soon enough. But these revolutionary moments need to happen in the imperial core for there to be real global change.
It sort of takes the shape of a moral outrage. It is much more than just that comment of cockroach. It is much more than leaking the exam. It is much more than those marking discrepancies and corruption. It is now about whether this country, this democracy, is responsible and accountable to the majority of the citizens. And as I was saying, it's no longer just about the students and their future, their education, employment. I mean, the parents also see, that the people don't have the future that their generation had. Education has always been the tool for social mobility in India for a long time, over the past 2-3 decades. And now, if that's no longer fair and accessible, then what?
Yeah, you bring up a very good point. Rumila Sen with Columbia University. We appreciate your time, and we appreciate your insights in helping us understand this. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
I don't know if these protests are going to carry on. How's the family? Yeah, really good, Original. Really good. Very good. Our dog is a little bit sick at the moment. He has a tummy bug and it's looking really, really bad. Poor dude. Yeah, so... Oh my gosh, man. तुम्हारे घर में औलाद है तब पता चले। Oh, dude. It's not going well in India. Dissent is growing. Oh, beautiful. We've got a lot of news here to cover. Everybody.
This is 4 p.m. and the atmosphere here is still charged up. There are protesters who were trying to march towards the parliament, and now we see police forces trying to disperse them forcefully after several rounds of tear gassing. and lathi charge. We have seen many injured protesters here. There are still thousands.
Yeah, Luna, the thing that makes it worse is that the police in the global south have the same equipment as the police in the global north, right? So Western nations, the police there have the same equipment as the police in the global south, because the Western nations supply the police in the global south. But when it comes to the people don't have the same amount of privilege, just the general public, right? So in the global south, they're fighting with far less in terms of resources than in the West. The West has the resources and it doesn't want to fight, whereas the global south doesn't have the resources and they choose to fight. You know, it's like, but the police are armed with the same stuff. They have guns, they have all sorts of stuff. But the people don't have the same equipment.
And thousands of protesters on the streets, most of them students who came here to demand resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan. Here, this young man is showing his injuries from the lathi charge by the police.
This is a huge movement, by the way. Massive. Modi is going to be very nervous about this, because he knows what's happened in Bangladesh. He knows what happened in Nepal. He knows. He knows if he knows that if he lets this keep going, it's going to accelerate across India. But because he's an autocrat, I think he is going to try and resist this. And the movement's going to grow. To me, I just really hope these students, I hope it's not the same sort of repression as Sheikh Hasina in Bangladesh, or even in Kenya, where William Ruto basically just took it out on the youth, on these Gen Z protesters. I hope it's not like that. Yep, it's not surprising, unfortunate. I also learned that in class, the U.S. Border Patrol, for example, trains border agents in other global south countries as well. Yeah.
This day started with huge crowds surging towards Jantar Mantar, with all roads leading to Jantar Mantar jam-packed with crowds. As the day progressed, we saw the leaders breaking their fast and asking protesters to move towards Parliament Street.
No such application for permission has been received or given to Delhi police, or no such permission has been granted.
So as you see, these young students are being beaten here in the protest. There is lathi charge going on at several places. Now you see these police officials trying to disperse the crowd with force, and this is not just happening at one place. We have seen the same kind of visuals at several places. What do you want to say?
So they are abusing us, they are beating us with their sticks.
And here again, there is this huge crowd surge. You see, there is this huge crowd surge.
The youth in India, just the sheer volume of youth, it's a sleeping giant. A sleeping giant that could truly bring on a huge amount of change. Not just in India, around the world. Because if the youth in India, if the youth in Pakistan, if the youth in Bangladesh, they're all rising up, Nepal, they're all rising up, there is a unity there. And the youth don't discriminate like the other generations. They're far more inclusive in these movements, and the youth less and less. Borders are not particularly important for youth. So this is a sleeping giant in India, and Modi's waking it up. And I hope that this is, this is that moment, that light switch in India turns on, and they understand how deeply exploited India is. Like, I have people on LinkedIn that will come into the comments, right? Like a couple of them, they'll yell at me, and then I'm like, bro, you get paid like 20 times less than a person doing the same job as you in the West. Why are you simping for the? Why are you so keen to support your government? You're being exploited for your labor. They actually don't have an answer for that. They don't, because they just think that being exploited is the norm. They don't even think of it as exploitation. It's crazy. The mindset of these people is just support Modi at all costs, no matter what.
All we can see here is cows, young protesters running. Here, this man, he has fallen. A woman is with him. And we have witnessed these kind of scenes quite a few times during this protest during the day.
Delhi police appeals to all protesters to maintain peace, exercise restraint, and cooperate with the police in ensuring peace and public order. All participants are requested to conduct themselves in a peaceful manner, refrain from indulging in any unlawful or violent activities, and comply with the lawful directions issued by police officers or personnel deployed on duty.
Hey, Sylvie.
झूठ बोलकर जीत गया हो नेता किधर हो आंखों में बत्ती पड़े अनपढ़िए नेता खड़े अनपढ़िए नेता खड़े अनपढ़िए नेता खड़े
आप हिंदू मुस्लिम करके कितना ही वोट ले लेंगे और कब तक ही वोट ले लेंगे नाउ वी आर सीइंग दैट इज नॉट वर्किंग एनीमोर पीपल आर ऑन द स्ट्रीट ऑब्वियसली देयर इज अ रीजन व्हाई दे आर ऑन द स्ट्रीट वी सी देयर इज नो इंप्रूवमेंट इन मेडिकल वी सी देयर इज नो इंप्रूवमेंट इन एजुकेशन सो व्हाट आई वांट इज फाइन यू बी देयर बीजेपी वांट्स टू बी इन पावर बी देयर बट एटलीस्ट डू बेटर फॉर द स्टूडेंट्स फॉर द यंग पीपल देयर आर नो जॉब
हमारी डिमांड है पेपर लीक नहीं चलेगा एजुकेशन पे बात होनी चाहिए मोदी डर क्यों रहे हैं सामने क्यों नहीं आ रहे हैं बात क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं अगर वो बात करते तो आज ऐसा नहीं होता
We don't know as of now what is going to happen next. The CJP leadership, we spoke, they say their protest will end and emerge in a new way and they will raise their voices across India.
We're at the protest site of the Cockroach Janata Party movement. These were the streets which were swelling up with people since last night and throughout the last month. As of now,
we are still working on the Epstein files. We have built a platform, in fact, to work on the Epstein files. I'll demonstrate to you guys in a bit.
Now, today, when the major march was announced to the Indian Parliament as the session began today, this protest site has been emptied. Police and the administration are announcing continuously, urging the protesters and asking them to leave the premises. Throughout the day, we've seen that there was multiple layers of barricading that was put in place to ensure that the protesters could not march to the parliament. In addition to that, tear gassing and lathi charging was also used against the protesters to stop them from marching to the parliament. The spokespersons of the Cockroach Janata Party, Saurav Das and Abhijit Dipke, have met with the Union Minister JP Nadda and are negotiating over their demands. As of now, there is nothing concrete in terms of what this protest and its shape will be.
Wow. Incredible, man. Yeah, let's listen to it.
If a dialogue is possible, then why not a dialogue?
Everybody for help, but nobody is helped by far.
यहाँ तक नहीं आ पा रहा।
नहीं, they are saying कि आप थोड़ा सा खाली करने बोलो तो वहाँ जाएंगे।
अगर हम वहाँ सामने दिखाएं तो उधर जंतर मंतर है, लेकिन लोगों को रास्ता नहीं मिल रहा है वहाँ जाने का।
What started these protests? There's been a exam paper exam paper gate, where medical students had their exam. There was a leak that I think exam question papers were being shared to particular groups, where if they paid enough, they could get the exam paper. So literally, the education system in India has become, if you have money, you can ace your exams. It's become pay to play. So all the people who can't afford to buy those exam papers, they are at a massive disadvantage. A massive disadvantage. So all of these students are like, well, we pay for education, but you guys are cheating us. And because of all of these scandals, one of the BJP, the ruling party's MPs, has gone on live TV and called the kids who are angry about this, I guess, fixing about the scandal. All the students who are angry about the scandal. This MP has called them all cockroaches. And in a derogatory, dehumanizing way, described like a huge demographic of India as cockroaches. And these kids aren't happy anymore.
So right now it's almost 10:30 a.m. and we are at the Janpath Road in New Delhi. The crowd that you are seeing behind me, all of them are heading to Jantar Mantar right now for the 20th July CJP protest. Everybody's gonna march to the parliament. There's very heavy security on road. Even we faced a lot of problems traveling here, and we had to get off really, really far away and walk till here.
Leftover taco.
See, I think this is the first protest जिसमें इतने सारे लोग एक साथ आए हैं. And it should have happened much earlier, but it is happening right now.
Yeah, the C word, the Rwanda genocide as well. They used cockroaches as the dehumanizing term.
So I think it's very important for us to know the importance of protest, to show the dissent to the government. क्योंकि ये बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है, तभी गवर्नमेंट, आप देखिए ना, आज की गवर्नमेंट ऐसी है कि वो चाह रही है कि है ना, अगर इस्तीफ़ा दे देते तो वो धीरे धीरे और मिनिस्टर्स तक बात पहुंचती, तो इसलिए वो स्टेप लेना ही नहीं चाह रहे हैं. So I think it's very important to show the power of the normal citizens.
So something that I found surprising here is that the gate number 2 of Janpath metro station is also closed, and I don't know if they've done it to sort of not let people commute easily towards Jantar Mantar, but for the first time I'm seeing that the gate of a metro station is also closed. Can we please show the gate? And there's huge, very heavy barricading just right outside the...
I love the fact that there are these, media, like third-party media groups just covering the news like this on the ground. Oh man, this is great. This is great. Honestly, this is what needs to happen. This is called Brute India.
The gate.
I mean, हम यहाँ पे peaceful protest करना है, nothing else. I want everybody to spread love, and in the name of
those students who died. I want to dedicate these flowers to everybody.
So right now we are about 500 meters from जंतर मंतर and यहीं पे बहुत ज़्यादा भीड़ लग गई है.
आगे करता है.
आगे जाने नहीं दिया जा रहा है, but let's see, people are trying their best to reach the main.
You see those police over there? You see those police? They have the guns around their neck. I mean, come on, man. They are armed to the teeth. They are militaristic in nature. They are armed. They have grenades and whatnot. And yet the people have far fewer resources to resist all of this in the global south. And yet it is the people in the global south who are resisting.
Place, and there's a lot of barricading, there's very heavy security, and the protesters have come prepared. Like the guidelines जो CJP ने जारी करी थी कि कैप लेके आइए, मास्क लेके आइए, everybody has taken that very seriously. So what is your expectation from today?
My expectation from today is whatever the expectation is of Sonam Wangchuk from the government. I guess he has reiterated his demands today morning. He has changed it, somehow calmed them down. So if a dialogue is possible, then why not a dialogue? Because what is democracy if not a dialogue? And dissent is itself a part of democracy. If you are not allowing dissent, then this is a constitutional means, no? Peaceful protest is a constitutional means. Now if the government isn't accepting the constitution itself, then what to say? What to do? Where to go? If in your job you do mistake, then you are fired. That's it. There are consequences to the mistakes. So where are the consequences? If there are no consequences, how does it make a difference?
So on our way to Jantar Mantar, wherever people are getting placed, they are just climbing. So ऊपर बहुत सारे लोग चढ़े हुए हैं and they have these plates in their hand, वो उन्हें बजा रहे हैं. इस तरफ अगर हम दिखा सके तो people are there on trees as well because नीचे इतना rush है. So whatever place they are getting, I think इस तरफ barricades है, that is why people have stopped here.
आज हम स्पेशली मार्च के लिए आए हैं बिकॉज हम लोगों को बहुत बुरा फील हो रहा है कि जिस तरह से गवर्नमेंट ट्रीट कर रही है. सोनम वांगचुक को जिस तरह से उठा के ज़बरदस्ती ले गए, मतलब हम लोग कुछ नहीं कर सकते और तो हम एटलीस्ट यहाँ पे पार्टिसिपेट करके उन्हें सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं.
जो लोगों ने क्वेश्चन करना बंद कर दिया है वो हम चाहते हैं कि लोग देखें कि वी कैन क्वेश्चन. एंड इतने बच्चों ने सुसाइड कर लिया. मेरी भी बेटी है 9th क्लास में है, तो मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि मतलब वो कल को मुझे पूछे कि मैं क्यों पढ़ाई करूं. इतना ज़्यादा करप्शन है, इस लेवल पे करप्शन है. दे नीड टू आंसर, दे नीड टू सी दिस. सो नाउ वी नीड एन आंसर.
क्या आपके मन में थोड़ा सा डर भी है आज के इंतजाम को लेकर?
काफ़ी डर है. हम साइड पे रह रहे हैं बिकॉज फॉर मी इट्स फर्स्ट टाइम मैं कहीं पर आई हूँ. पहले भी प्रोटेस्ट होते हैं, हम देखते हैं, पढ़ते हैं, बट इस बार मुझे लगा कि बच्चों के लिए हमें ये कर.
Bro, mums are turning up to look after their kids. Mums are turning up to look after their kids while they protest. Oh, Modi's so screwed, man. That is awesome.
करना चाहिए. Future is in danger now, so हम इसलिए आए हैं.
This is how the footpath and pavement of the entire central Delhi right now is looking. On any road that we are taking towards Jantar Mantar, this is how people are resting because बहुत ज़्यादा गर्मी है and थोड़ी देर लोग चल रहे हैं, फिर भीड़ हो रही है, फिर रेस्ट कर रहे हैं. But people, मतलब लोग पूरी की पूरी तैयारी के साथ आए हैं और जाने नहीं वाले हैं, चाहे जितने मर्जी उनको रोड ब्लॉक मिले रास्ते में हुए हैं. उधर जैसे कि आप देख सकते हो बहुत भीड़ है, कुछ ही लोग अंदर जा पा रहे हैं. अगर हम वहाँ सामने दिखाएं तो उधर जंतर मंतर है, लेकिन लोगों को रास्ता नहीं मिल रहा है वहाँ जाने का. और मीनवाइल लोग साइड में बैठ के कुछ लोग आराम कर रहे हैं क्योंकि गर्मी बहुत है तो पंखा लगा रहे हैं. कुछ लोग खाना खा रहे हैं और अभी यहाँ पे कुछ लोग हैं जो लूडो खेल रहे हैं. क्या उम्मीद है आपको आज से?
उम्मीद तो यही है जी, चोर तो चोर ही रहेगा. चोर चोरी छोड़ देगा, हेरे फेरे तो छोड़ देगा नहीं. अब देखो क्या होता. आशंका लगा सकते हैं हम तो कि जो होएगा सही होएगा.
हम यहाँ पे आए हैं, अब अपने काम वगैरह सबको छोड़ के, सब वर्किंग है यहाँ पे, है ना. और हम 3 दिन से फुटपाथ पे ही सो रहे हैं सब, है ना. कैसे मैनेज कर रहे हैं चीज़ों को हमको ही पता है. पर ये है कि ये सब यूथ इसलिए कर रहा है, जेनजी इसलिए कर रहा है कि चेंज आए कम से कम. हम एफर्ट्स तो डाल सकते हैं ना अपनी तरफ से. जैसा मैंने देखा है बहुत सारी पुलिस फोर्स है, ठीक है, आंसू गैस के गोले.
This is what they making Italians strike look small. Oh, this is so huge, man. This is insane. Like India's youth are the sleeping giant. In my honest opinion, it's if the youth in India wakes up as they are right here, and the government makes a slip up here, it will be the largest movement the world has ever seen, because just the sheer amount of kids, the youth who will take part in this, with obviously mums and dads, and mums mostly, mums turning up to protect their kids, there'll be nothing like it. It'll be multi-state, just hundreds of millions of people. You'll see nothing like it. You have seen nothing like it. Bangladesh comes close. Like Bangladesh was huge, massive. If it gets to like that sort of descent, India will just be so huge. And honestly, the youth are well in their right to do this, man. Like, they're being taken advantage of. One family in India owns 10% of GDP worth of wealth. One family is worth 10% of India's GDP. One family. How do you let that happen?
वगैरह लेके बैठी है ना, कैनन वगैरह सारी चीज, मतलब प्रबंध था। हम रात चेक करके आए थे, इतनी आर्म फोर्स नहीं थी पहले, इतने कैनन्स टैंक वगैरह नहीं थे, पर रात बहुत ज़्यादा थे। तो मुझे जो लग रहा है कि आर्मी और फोर्स बहुत ज़्यादा है रोकने के लिए।
So these are the police vans that everybody was talking about.
Look at this. Look at the equipment here, okay? These vans with these army people, like military people with these hoses or, launch canisters or whatever these things are. These are all things that have been, sold through Western supply chains and produced in India, if they are, through various supply chains that are enabling them to do this, right? So yeah, these police are equipped with the same sort of weaponry as Western militaries, Western police. And yet the people who are protesting have very little compared to the West.
There's a lot of police force here. We can see that there are full buses of police personnel and rapid task force present here. So now almost after 2 hours, we were able to find the main Jantar Mantar spot. This is where Sonam Wangchuk had been on a hunger strike till the 18th of July. And then he was taken to a government hospital by the authorities, by Delhi police. We all saw those visuals. This is the same place where the CJP's protest has been going on for a month now. It started on 20th June and today is 20th July. क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन है आपको? क्या सोचा था आपने? कैसा लगा आपको यहाँ आके?
देखिए, युवाओं का जोश देखते ही बनता है। और जो है, जब भी इतिहास गवाह है, जब भी युवाओं की आवाज़ बुलंद हुई है, सरकारों की जो नींव है वो कांप गई है। तो मुझे लगता है आज भी वही काम हो रहा है।
ठीक है, क्या आपको डर भी लग रहा है?
डर का नामो निशान भी नहीं है।
अंदर जंतर मंतर में बहुत ज़्यादा।
She asked him, are you scared? Do you have any fear? And he goes, something to the effect of, I don't think about fear or something. Fear doesn't impact me.
भीड़ थी तो हम थोड़ा सा बाहर आए हैं, तो यहाँ पे बहुत बड़ा एक ग्रुप बैठा हुआ है and they are constantly chanting slogans. So let's speak to someone here. Are you here with your friends?
I am.
What are
some of my friends?
Okay. What are the precautionary measures you are taking to be safe here?
Electrolytes, a lot of electrolytes, water.
Electrolytes, bro. I love that. What are you doing? Electrolytes. Damn. Oh, shit.
Maybe a snack, a banana or an apple. Yeah, that's it.
बिल्कुल भी सिग्नल नहीं है, यहाँ इंटरनेट नहीं चल रहा. So what are you doing to stay connected?
Holding on to each other, that's it, yeah.
The crowd is increasing by every single minute, but people on ground are really confused as to when will the march start because they don't have a proper permission here.
What a great, honest answer, right? That was so good.
Authorities have declared that this is an illegal gathering. Section 163 is already in place, which means no more people than 5 can gather anywhere. So the people don't know where to exactly move right now, so they're just taking circles of the entire Jantar Mantar. But I just saw that, to come to this side, heavy barricading was done, and now the protesters had pushed that barricading away. तो वो अब नीचे गिर गया था, तो लोग उसके ऊपर से आ रहे थे. तो I would say personally कि crowd थोड़ा सा बेकाबू हो रहा है, थोड़ा सा धक्का मुक्की का माहौल बढ़ रहा है. बहुत ज़्यादा लोगों को suffocation भी feel हो रही थी. As you can see, an ambulance is about to pass from here because some people are passing out because of the weather, and the volunteers and the protesters themselves are making way for the ambulance as well.
Everybody for help, but nobody is helped by far.
पुलिस यहाँ तक नहीं आ पा रहा.
नहीं, they are saying कि आप थोड़ा सा खाली करने बोलो तो वो आ जाएंगे. But we are asking कि आप बैरिकेड हटाओगे तब तो आएगी. बैरिकेड ही नहीं हटा रहे अब तक.
बहुत ज़्यादा पुलिस फोर्स प्रेजेंट तो है, but it's like
there is no help.
Yeah, they are not helping the protesters.
Yes, I don't know उनका stance अभी क्या है, but we have
just monitoring everything that what's happening.
They are here. वो इतनी पुलिस लगा सकते हैं, but there is no medical help. एक बंदा अपनी टांग तोड़वा के बैठा हुआ है, and we have no medical help. जो we have ambulances. अगर इतनी पुलिस फोर्स डिप्लॉयड है, they should make way. We are cooperating with them. अभी 3 ambulances आई हैं. We have given them way to go. So we are fully supporting, but police is not cooperating with us.
Yeah, not my attorney's cell, not a protective vest, electrolytes. Yeah, exactly, KDD.
So as you can see, the protesters sitting here on ground because the point is that they are not ready to leave anytime soon. They've come up with a lot of water, a lot of resources to keep them hydrated so that they can actually stay here. And I spoke to some people, although they don't know where the movement is going, when the march will begin, but they have no intention of leaving anytime soon.
Damn, that's when you hear that collective sort of a chant, that does that just make the hair on the back of your neck grow? Like, I was watching I was watching what was happening in Kenya, right? All of these protests I was watching, and it's so powerful, man, when so many people get together in like a single under in what seems to be such a collective consciousness, and they all just march to make change. To me, there's nothing more powerful than that. It's it really is goosebumps stuff, and it's been happening. It's just happening everywhere.
Hello and welcome to the Global News Podcast from
challenge in years. Thousands of protesters from what are known as the cockroach movement have taken to the streets of New Delhi demanding that the education minister resign. On Monday, tension escalated near Parliament.
Exactly.
Protesters were met with tear gas and a heavy police crackdown.
Chaos on the streets of New Delhi as baton-wielding police charge protesters. Thousands, mostly students, had gathered near India's parliament to demand the resignation of Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan over exam irregularities, including leaks of questions and technical glitches.
I have come here because the rotten system is not taking action and cannot see the pain of the students. So many people have gathered here from different states of India, and I decided to be part of it.
I voted for this government, so I think it's accountable to answer our questions. That's the basic right, human right that I deserve. And I think I'm liable for whatever is happening because I voted this government, and hence I'm here to ask for answers.
Behind Monday's outlawed protests was the youth-led Cockroach Jantar Party, or CJP.
We actually watched this. We watched this one just before. The youth always start the revolution, then the older generation want to lead and take the credit. Yeah. The youth have to be careful about that. It is the older generation coming in and, taking over. But let me just say, guys, it's heartening to see that young people are realizing the exploitative nature of the neoliberal autocracy that they're actually a part of in India. It's you got to say a Hindu nationalist autocracy as well. Like it's very much stoking the flames of Hindu versus Muslim there, and Modi is very, very accountable. Should be held accountable for all of this stuff. And People around the world shouldn't be supporting Modi's government or validating what Modi's government is doing, especially in Aotearoa, New Zealand, that has just signed a free trade agreement. We have just signed a free trade agreement with Modi's government. And my brother has been involved in organizing this free trade agreement. My brother is the CEO of Air New Zealand in Aotearoa, New Zealand. And yeah, it's freaking unfortunate. I have been speaking up against this. Let me just show you guys quickly. A few days ago, I posted this video. Just so you're aware. Let me just, this is a sensitive subject because this is my brother. I have witnessed 3 years of genocide, and I have witnessed in detail 3 years of what not just Israel, America, and the West has done, but also India's complicity in the whole thing and Modi's building of closer ties with Israel. I just had to speak up. This is my public statement on my LinkedIn account, and here goes. I am deeply embarrassed that my brother, Nikhil Ravishankar, the CEO of Air New Zealand, is helping build commercial relationships with Narendra Modi's government while remaining publicly silent on Israel's genocide in Gaza. This is not simply my personal description. A UN Commission of Inquiry has concluded that Israeli authorities are committing genocide in Gaza, and major human rights organizations have reached the same conclusion. Modi's government has maintained close strategic, military, and commercial ties with Israel throughout that genocide. My brother is entitled to remain silent. I am entitled to say that his silence, alongside his public relationship building with Modi's government, causes me profound shame. Being related to the CEO does not disqualify me from scrutinizing Air New Zealand. It makes the scrutiny more difficult, not less necessary. Family connection does not erase public accountability. This is a sensitive subject because this is... Yeah, so that was my public statement. I made it last week. And I think it is our obligation to hold these companies that are building relationships with deeply, deeply complicit governments and people. Yeah, I feel I feel isolated, honestly. Old Al Hooten, welcome. I feel isolated. I feel like I'm in a lot of cases I'm the only voice. Like, I know my family doesn't approve of this. I know my parents aren't going to be on my side. I know my brother's blocked me on every platform. Who cares? Who cares? Honestly, who gives a crap? I care about the Palestinians. Okay? I care about the genocide. I care about the Sudanese people. I care about the people in the Democratic Republic of Congo. I don't think that blood is thicker than genocide. It just isn't. And I don't care if I get isolated from my family. At the end of the day, I have my wife. I have my son. If they don't want to engage with me on this, that's their problem. I know my family support Modi. I know they do. I know they hate it when I speak out against Modi. They tell me that I don't know anything. They tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. They tell me I'm not educated about the subject. They tell me it's far more complicated. Everything that pro-Israel people have been telling me over the last 3 years while I watch babies being, killed en masse. And to me, it's not complicated at all. It's not complicated. You can't support governments like this. You just can't, who are deeply complicit. To me, what it says is that from a moral standpoint, my family has not stood up to the moment. They have not stood up to this moment. my brother in particular has not stood up to this moment. He has decided to, whatever it is, he has decided to, him and his company have decided to strengthen ties with a government who are deeply complicit in this, guys. Like, what sort of deal is that? And it's not good. It's not good. Yeah, this whole Hindu nationalist stuff, how in this modern world are people like India is a Hindu country, or Hinduism is superior, or whatever? It's like, what is this shit, guys? Like, it's so uneducated in its nature. Man, it's terrible. It's terrible. Anyway, that's what we're fighting here, folks. That's what we're fighting here. And for me, I think holding companies to account legally. Are you the youngest boy in your family, Noisy? Yeah, I am. My brother is 6 years, 5.5, 6 years older than me. So yeah, I am the youngest. I just feel, yeah, a deep sense of responsibility here. If I don't speak out against this, I know that I have let the fact that my brother is my brother, get to me. I have been messaging that guy, like, so many videos over the last 3 years from what's happening on the ground in Gaza. I have messaged him incessantly. He knows exactly what's happening on the ground. So I feel let down a fair bit that he would feign like this empathy, but carried on doing what he was doing. So look, man, at the end of the day, whatever consequences come my way, they come my way. But I know that there's nothing more important in this moment than standing up against genocide. There is nothing more important right now. I don't care how successful you think you are. I don't care how big the contract is. I don't care about any of that. Yeah, it's what Modi's government is doing. And don't forget Kashmir as well, guys. Don't forget about Kashmir. Don't forget about Kashmir as well. Like the most militarized spot in the world right now. Modi has militarized Kashmir as well. So it's all fucked. And I just don't think that my family should be involved in any of this stuff. But they are. So
there we are.
Julie! Hello. Amarva, hello. Welcome. Nationalism is not bad if you have people who can still criticize their government. Oh, Trudy, thank you so much. Yeah, guys. It's disappointing. It's disappointing. It's so disappointing. So what have I been doing? I've been chasing out Air New Zealand because I want to understand, and I'm going to do this across the board. So I've been asking Air New Zealand to show, to demonstrate that they have an internal policy for human rights. So Air New Zealand hasn't learned its lesson. So this is another message that I put out. Air New Zealand hasn't learned its lesson. In 2021, Air New Zealand was forced to apologize after it was revealed that its engineering division had serviced engines for the Royal Saudi Navy during the Saudi-led war in Yemen. Now the airline is helping strengthen commercial relationships with Narendra Modi's government. This matters because Modi's government has deepened its strategic partnership with Israel throughout the Gaza war. India has expanded defensive cooperation, maintained military trade, and developed closer political ties with Benjamin Netanyahu's government, while Israel faced widespread allegations of genocide and serious violations of international humanitarian law. My question isn't whether businesses should trade internationally. My question is this: where does Air New Zealand draw the ethical line? If it was acceptable to work with the Saudi military during Yemen, and it is now acceptable to publicly strengthen relationships around a government that has deepened military and strategic ties with Israel during the destruction of Gaza, what human rights standard is actually being applied? A national carrier should be accountable not only for its profits, but for the values it chooses to legitimize. Okay, so I'm asking the question. Here's what I'm going to do with this community's support. Here's also what I'm going to do. I am going to start asking the same question as this to as many organizations as I can. I want organizations to answer these questions. What decision-making policies do they have when it comes to not building partnerships with governments accused of committing genocide? Do they have policy? Do they give a shit? Do they care? I want to ask as many companies as I can about this, and I'm going to do that. That's one of the big projects I wanted to talk about today. And I am starting with Air New Zealand, but it is going to scale up very, very quickly. And folks, we need help. Okay, we need people. We're not just going through the Epstein files. We're also going to be going through this. So let me show you to the morning crew. Hold up, guys. Let me just quickly. Let me show you, morning crew, what we've been up to in particular with the Epstein files. So this is the Noisy Immigrant Community Platform. This is it. It's called Lasso Trace. And we have processed all close to 1.4 million Epstein documents that have been released so far. And they are all available for the Noisy community to go through and build links and investigate, right? Like, this is the capability we have built within the community. If you want to help us sift through these files, join our community, our Discord community. Only if you're on our Discord community can you access this information. And all of these tools are built internally. So this is all built by us, by the Noisy community, okay? And we are, wanting to investigate various different parts of the Epstein files, all sorts of connections, and we want to investigate all of these things as a community. So we need people. We need people to help us. We need people to engage in the community. We need people to be active in the community. But it's not just this. It's not just this. In Give me 1 second. Let me bring up something I am working on the side, okay? Let me bring up something I am working on in addition to this. Hold up, everybody. Let me just bring this up. I think it's important to show. This is something I want to launch in the next couple of weeks, and something I'm working on. So all of this Epstein files work is going to be coordinated by the Noisy community. We have a few administrators. So Scary Poppins it will be one of those. Shiny Mikachu will be another one, and My Clothes Brush so far. But we have other administrators as well who haven't been able to attend the meetings because of time. The times we've been streaming. So other admins in the Noisy community, if you are keen to help coordinate the work on the Epstein files and keep the community sort of focused on getting to solutions, please jump on Discord, and there is a mod logs channel where all mods can have a conversation in Discord. Jump on that channel and we'll have that conversation. But for now, My Clothes Brush, Shiny Mikachu, and Scary are the core team. Drea, please reach out to Shiny. Please reach out to Shiny. And we need to keep the community active. Okay, guys? We need to keep the community active. We need to be messaging and we need to be sharing all of this stuff. So that's the team that will be leading the Epstein files related investigation. But there is another investigation that I will be working on, and that I am very much looking forward to progressing, and that is this. Let me just bring this up. Okay. I don't think you can see this in... There we are. Hey, Long Moon. Firstly, for the Epstein files, we have created this platform, TikTok. I didn't share my screen. We have created this platform. Hold on. Let me just take this text out. Let me take this goal out. Let me take this out. We have created this platform where 1.4 million documents are currently live. And all this is an inbuilt application, guys. This is a Noisy immigrant application. Look, even Cletus exists. Cletus is not AI. Cletus is just a workflow manager. Hello, Candice. Hey, Anne. Welcome. But I want you to understand that there are 1.4 million Epstein files. 1.4 million Epstein files related. Juju's I just need time, Juju's. There's so much happening. Honestly, right now I'm stretched a lot. Let's just focus on Epstein files, please. I just want to show you also what I'm focusing on from an organization perspective. Okay. I can't honestly, guys. Like I am one person, sort of working on 20 different things. It's tough for me to take on. Okay. Anyway, all the Epstein files are here. So come on, join in, and there are tools available. There are tools available to investigate as well. Okay, these are all built. These are all built. These are ready to go. So jump on in to our Discord community. Jump on in and start being part of this. Shiny Mikachu, Scary Poppins, and My Clothes Brush will be the initial sort of coordinators of this. But we have other mods as well who are in the channel that can hopefully with this new time can also be engaged. I know. Yeah, Ivy, the Miro board got converted into a real cloud-based platform. This is like the Miro board on steroids. Like, we have everything here. Okay, so I want to show you guys what I'm working on in parallel to this. This is in the test environment right now, so please note that this is all tests. So if something breaks while I'm doing this, it's because it's still test version. But I am testing out a model to hold. Blame it on Canada. Always. I am testing out a model to start to hold companies to account, or at least start to show that companies need to be accountable for the partnerships they build, and they need to show. So a public evidence platform documenting how companies respond to human rights risks, public scrutiny, and demands for accountability. Okay? So I want this to be a Wikipedia for corporate accountability. And I am starting with Air New Zealand, of course, and this is all test data. This is all test data. But I'm just testing out the site at the moment. But I want to launch this very, very soon. I'm gonna have a subset of companies that I'm gonna be chasing. One is obviously Air New Zealand, but the regions I want to launch in, first are going to be New Zealand, Australia, United Kingdom, Canada, United States, and the European Union. And for me, these are the areas that are causing the most human suffering right now, and I want companies in these areas to be accountable for what they're doing. This is Western hegemony. Human rights and environmental rights are all the same. Human rights and environmental rights all go together. We are nature. You can't separate humans from nature. We are nature. We are the environment. So we'll launch here. I'm just working on just getting this platform. The other thing, guys, is we are also, with this launch, is going to be the ability for employees to we are going to be allowing employees to submit anonymously as well. We're going to allow employees to submit anonymously any problems they are experiencing that aligns to human rights, etc. That aligns with, human rights policy, environmental policy, whatever it is. We will allow employees to submit, and we will track this as well. Hey, LC, welcome. I'm good, thank you. How are you? So I'm building the back-end process for this right now too. So you will see. I'll show you guys what the back end of this looks like. So again, because we have Lasso Trace now, am I starting a business? No, this is not a business. This is a community effort. This is our Noisy Communities platform. We are gonna start keeping track. You've organized the family with the crew. Where's the cake? I don't know. You hardly see TikTok. Oh my gosh, Elsie. Well, you're here today. Hey, Calamity. So, family reunion. So this is in the test environment, and I am starting to go through all the information. So with Air New Zealand, right? Kia ora, Ngeru, kia ora. With Air New Zealand, they have made a lot of statements. They have shareholder briefings. They have annual reports. They have corporate governance. They have a whole bunch of stuff they do. They talk about the environment. They talk about, carbon emission targets, all of this, right? And the way we're going to keep them accountable is by ensuring. Can confirm the Air NZ statements work there. What do you mean, Damien Smith? So we are gonna this platform is gonna allow. Oh, you work there? Oh, right. So we're going to be able to assess all of the important parts of these documents on this platform and make sure that what they're promising here is what they're keeping up to, right? So we are going to have the ability to audit every single company that goes into this platform, and it's going to be simpler and easier for us to do. So, for example, if they make a claim like you receive the same level of information as other shareholders in normal circumstances, okay, if they say that, they need to then, you receive the same level of information, where's the fucking information? Where's the information? Back it up. And here, you have no powers to direct the publicly listed companies. However, the Crown's majority shareholding gives you influence. It gives me influence in Aotearoa, New Zealand. And the boards take comments from you seriously. So they release all of these documents and statements and all of this stuff. So why am I not being taken seriously? It's PR, but it's not just PR, Candace. They do this thinking that it's just PR because no one asked them the question. We are going to ask these questions now. We are going to ask these questions. And for me, that means we need community engagement, okay? Guys, jump on Discord. We need to be ripping off this Band-Aid. We need to be asking especially Western organizations, that virtue signal human rights and all of this crap. We need to ask them what they're doing about it. Yeah, exactly, Damien. And that's what I just want to stop, man. I just want to be 100% clear. 100% clear that no company can get away with this. There are so many lives at stake. We're talking about genocide here, guys. We're talking about genocide. This is not a normal operation we're just doing this for fun. We're talking about stopping genocide. And when corporates say that corporations and politics don't go to, or business and politics don't go together, they only mean for the working class. They only mean business and politics don't go together for the working class. But when it comes to CEOs or board members, Oh, they can make deals with other governments. That's okay. But the working class needs to just shut up and work. You know, that's what they say. It can't happen anymore. We're going to hold them to account. Okay? So, guys, please, we need help. This is a massive project. Epstein Files is a massive project. We cannot do this without people. We just can't do this without a community effort. I will be launching this platform in the next week or two, and we are going to have a legally appropriate approach to holding companies to their word. We are going to have a way to scale up this operation. Yeah, this is our community platform, man. I'm building this right now. Yeah, of course, Jujus. Absolutely. So the Epstein Files is happening. As I said, Scary Poppins, Shiny Mikachu, My Clothes Brush will be the points of contact. And other mods, if you are keen, I know I've been streaming at different times, so I've missed people before this. So other mods, other mods, if you want to also be part of that core crew, just let us know in let me know and we'll do it. I just apologize. I haven't been streaming in the morning, and I've kind of left a lot of people out because I haven't been streaming in the morning. But guys, go. We need people, okay? We just need people. Successive governments have had a policy of maintaining a 51% shareholding. The Minister of Finance is the sole shareholding minister. So the government of New Zealand owns 51% shareholding in Air New Zealand. Why is that significant? That means that is public. Those are public shares. Those are my shares. Those are the people's shares, just everyday people's shares. Like, we have a say in this stuff. We have a say in this stuff. And they can't just ignore me. They can't ignore you. And there are lots of companies in other countries, in Western nations, right? There's guys, remember, Callum, we're not doing this out of spite. This is not about doing anything out of spite. This is about constructively, with legal basis, with fact and evidence, approaching companies to explain to us why they're not upholding what they've been saying. Okay? This is not about spite. This is about stopping a genocide. We have to do this the right way. We have to do this the right way. There you go. Publicly listed companies, Air New Zealand Limited, blah, blah, blah. We've got everything here, guys. We've got everything, all important shit here. We have it. We have it. So I'm going to build and release this platform. But in the meantime, there's also Epstein happening. Join the community, guys. Just do it. Start engaging again. Shiny, My Clothes Brush, and Scary. Please make your presence felt. Make your presence felt in the Epstein channel again. My Clothes Brush, Shiny, and Scary. Please do that, and let's get all of this going. Of course, Candace, no stress at all. We just by that 3 weeks time anyway, Candace, like, this platform will be ready. Maybe we can team up on this as well. Maybe we can get Nash involved and team up in this. Drea, I know you're keen to get involved into the Epstein Files as well. So please reach out. Auntie Wash, if you're keen, get in there, mods. Mia, if you're, Get in there. Get into the Epstein channel, guys. Mia, if you're keen to do this, or Epstein, wherever, just get in. Get in. Keep it active. Keep it moving. Keep everybody engaged. Elsie, I know you get involved in the Epstein files a fair bit too. So get in that Epstein channel and dig in. By the way, just so you know, when you Jujus, you have a lasso session investigation going on, you can invite other people on the platform to join you on that lasso session. So your Zora Ranch lasso session, you can invite other people on the platform to that Zora Ranch platform session. So let Scary and Shiny and stuff know. Hey Curves, kia ora. How do we get in? Beth, there's a Discord link. There's a Discord link. So guys, we're doing this. The great thing about this platform, about Lasso Trace, is that it is our CRM for investigative work. It is our CRM for investigative work in our community. Because we have Epstein happening here. We have Air New Zealand. We're going to have other companies here as well. But how the front end sees this, like we can have multiple front ends. We can have like an Epstein front end, or like this is for the company's work. We can have other investigations in there. We can have an ICE specific investigation stream where that has a front end as well. So it's all scalable, extensible. We have a community-based platform, secure and built to scale. So yeah, right of reply. We've and this is drawing from so many different places, so many different companies that do similar stuff, but we're just going to scale it up. Okay. Let's keep moving. I want to talk a little bit about Iran now. If I didn't make it clear, get into Discord now, okay? Get into Discord. We're going to do this. We need people. We need a community effort. We need a collective effort for this. Okay. US is sending more F-16 and F-35 fighter jets into Iran. I can't show this, sorry. Let me just take this out. I can't show that on that. Okay.
New reporting that the U.S. is sending additional military aircraft to the Middle East right now. What's the latest?
Yeah, and this coming as the president is weighing whether to widen this conflict. Now the U.S. sending additional F-16 and F-35 fighter jets from bases in Europe towards the Middle East. The U.S. is also increasing the number of aerial refueling tanks.
Yeah. So human. I think the biggest thing is, my point is, we're just going to hold companies to account to what they have said, right? They release their annual reports. They virtue signal. So they have to be asked about these things. And they have to be questioned whether they are doing what they're saying. We have to bring, if there is hypocrisy, we have to bring that to light.
Tankers that are in the region, all as these tensions escalate with Iran. Last night, CENTCOM saying that it had carried out the 9th consecutive night of strikes against that country. You see both sides of this increasingly going after some very sensitive civilian infrastructure, including water desalination plants. The U.S. has been hitting roads and bridges in southern Iran. But at the same time, I think what these deaths over the weekend really underscore is that Iran has retained some some fairly significant missile and drone capabilities, kind of puncturing the president's claims of total military dominance. What you also hear U.S. officials worry about is that these tests could potentially show that Iran is beginning how to learn how to evade U.S. air defenses in its bases across the region. So some real...
An aspect of BDS, I am not trying to BDS these companies. I am just trying to make it very clear. So BDS can use my platform, right? BDS can use my platform to amplify their message about companies. And other movements can use this platform, I should say our, not my. That's unfair. Use this platform to amplify their own movements. I just want to make it visible. I want to make it transparent. I want to make it transparent to everybody what these companies are up to. All sort of anchored in real information, in press releases, so every company and what they stand for will be completely transparent to everybody in a community-driven way. The way these companies often get away with like making statements and not standing up to them is due to the public's ignorance on this, or even the overwhelming amount of information there is out there. Like just Air New Zealand, right, has so many press releases, so many reports that they've released. Like, how do you keep track of just one company and forget about like hundreds of thousands of companies, you know? How do you keep track of all of these companies if you're a person? It's hard, man. It's impossible. So there has to be an easy way. There has to be an easy way, a more transparent way to keep track of this.
Concerns about what an escalation could potentially portend for those U.S. troops that are arrayed across the Middle East. At the same time, you hear diplomats say that they have not closed the door to returning to negotiations with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. He's traveling in Asia, Wolf. He told reporters overnight that the U.S. remains willing to engage in negotiations, quote, if that door opens. And he said that Iran had communicated both directly and indirectly that they were open to returning to the bargaining table.
Have you seen these Iranian strikes on the Jordanian airbase? Oh my gosh, they really got through the defenses there. And can I just say that Jordan saying that they didn't have what they hit Jordan? Yeah. They hit American air bases in Jordan. Jordan was like denying that they had American military on their soil, but they lied.
The U.S. is planning to send additional F-16 fighter jets, F-35 fighter jets, along with more aerial refueling tankers to the Middle East as these tensions clearly soar. This is pretty significant right now.
It is, and you know, when you look at what we already have in the Gulf region, you've got, of course, carrier strike groups that are in the Arabian Sea, near the Persian Gulf. You've got the aircraft that are already based in areas of the Middle East, including Jordan and Saudi Arabia, as well as United Arab Emirates and Qatar. So those areas are going to get beefed up, basically. The airplanes that you mentioned, the fighters, as well as the aerial refueling tankers, are also probably going to be augmented by other aircraft such as reconnaissance aircraft and other drones potentially as well. And if all of that moves forward, they'll be coming from Europe, and that will basically set the stage for even further military offensives and basically a military campaign against Iran, one that is even more extensive than what we've seen so far.
Joining us now is Ambassador Dennis Ross. He was a special assistant to President Obama on the Middle East peace process and is a counselor over at the Washington Institute for Near East Policy. Dennis, thanks so much for joining.
Oh my gosh, 6 factorial. 200 stream streak. Oh my gosh. Oh, we have a viewer on Twitch that has a 200 stream streak. Holy shit, 6 factorial. That's incredible. Thank you.
Is to expect there will be larger fallout from the deaths of these U.S. service members. Is this war with Iran now going to dramatically escalate?
I don't know that it's going to dramatically escalate, although it's clear the U.S. is moving F-15s and F-35s to the region, is also moving additional aerial refueling tankers. So that suggests we're probably going to increase the scope and intensity of the attacks we're going to carry out. The Iranians, as you just noted, have hit 7 different states in the region.
Brilliant. Exactly what is needed. People production. Do we have to give phone to Discord? You need to authorize yourself. You need to authorize yourself and colonial Epstein regimes. The only reason I've done it that way is we've had bots in our Discord before. So we have pumped up the security for our Discord group. Yeah, we have had bots and posting all sorts of crazy shit in there. That's the only reason why.
Region.
And I do not want to let bots into that platform, you know? So we need to know that people who are joining are humans and actually want to be there.
So there is a dynamic here that seems to be an escalatory one, but it's also noteworthy that A, the Iranians are not hitting Israel, which suggests they know that Israel would hit back in a big way. B, the United States is still not hitting certain kinds of targets, meaning we're not hitting power plants, we're not going after energy facilities. And I think the reason for that is we're seeing that the Iranians have the ability to hit similar kinds of targets in the Gulf states. I think when they hit Kuwait and they hit the desalination plant, an electricity related facility, an oil related facility, that was their way of signaling if you hit.
Yeah, it's everywhere. And colonial Epstein regimes, like, it's everywhere. It's on Twitch. It's on TikTok. It's everywhere. For me, my biggest thing is, I don't think it's on Discord yet, but I'm like, let's just fucking do something, man. You know, I'm more interested in like just getting on with it.
Hit these kinds of targets within Iran, we will hit those kinds of targets in Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and elsewhere.
Hey, Zach Chap, welcome. What are we talking about? We're talking about holding corporations to account by ensuring that they stand up to what they have said, whether it comes to emails or publications or reports, annual reports. We want to keep corporations accountable to what they have asserted.
And the impact on
especially on human rights. Human rights.
Oil prices will be dramatic. So I think there is still a conflict that is being fought within certain bounds. Wolf, the basic problem is there's no way out of the current impasse because the Iranians are insisting they will control the straits, and we're saying they will not.
The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, says the U.S. is still open to diplomacy with Iran. Iranian officials say they were also open to it. But how does diplomacy even restart at this point with this war escalating?
Well, it's not unusual to have force and diplomacy operate at the same time. Oftentimes, each side is using force to try to affect the terms of a negotiation. I think that's what we're seeing at this point. I think both sides actually would like to find a way out. Our reimposition of the blockade has dramatically damaged further an already desperate economy within Iran. The IRGC, the Revolutionary Guard leadership, may speak.
Well, we'll test that ideology out. You know, idealistic maybe, but has it ever been tested? And I want to be able to do it in a scalable way. I want to do it in a community organized way. And that's the point, is let's test to how based in fact their own statements are.
You know, strongly and boldly about how that's not going to affect them. But the truth is, it does have an effect on them. But the same is true here. The president is clearly sensitive to the idea of oil prices going dramatically higher. Each side would like to find a way out, but neither side wants to look like it's backing down. It's in that context that you have mediators like the Qataris offering new proposals to start with a 10-day ceasefire, and then you
see again the way this guy is talking about this is like there are two equal powers here. There aren't equal powers here. America is huge. America compared to Iran, not from a land size perspective, but just I'm not saying when I say huge, I don't mean that way. Just from an economic, from militaristic, all of this, you can't even compare the two. America is huge, and they talk about it like both sides are equal. It is the literal David versus Goliath, and they're speaking about David as if David is the same size as Goliath. What's the population? 90 million to 300 million. 90 million Iranians, 90 plus million Iranians to 300 million, 330 million Americans.
Come up with what might be some new mechanisms that involve many of the states in the region as part of the management of the straits. Each side is going to need some way out. The one thing from an American standpoint that I think is essential, Iran cannot be in control of the Straits of Hormuz when all this ends. Let's recall, Wolf, that on February 27th, the straits were open. Supposedly, our main objective was about preventing Iran from ever having a nuclear weapon, but our whole focus right now seems to be on reopening the straits, which, by the way, were open prior to the war.
How deep, Dennis, are the fractures within Iran's regime right now? We still haven't seen, as you know, the new supreme leader. He was injured. His father was killed in the opening days of the war. Are we even sure who is in charge right now?
Historically, I would just note that we've always seen factions within the Iranian elite. That's not new. But the supreme leader was always the arbiter and always the decision maker. Right now, we don't know what the real status of the supreme leader is. He hasn't been seen. Statements are issued. They're probably written by others. I think what we're seeing is a kind of balance of power where maybe the supreme leader has some role, but there's probably a balance of power where the dominant voice at this point is really reflecting the Revolutionary Guard. But I do think the president, Pezeshkian, the Speaker of the Parliament, Ghalibaf, I think they are part of the decision-making process. It still seems that the Revolutionary Guard has greater sway. But again, there's a kind of balance of power at this point, favoring one side a little bit more. The longer this goes on, the greater the pressures from within, given what's happening to the economy. I still think we'll see an interest on their part to find a way out. The problem is they think they can outlast President Trump. And that's really, I think, why we're seeing the dynamic we are right now.
Yeah, nothing that America is doing is causing this, right? It's what Iran is doing. It's again, it's all apparently fucking Iran's fault. Come on, man. Who believes this shit anymore? Who believes this stuff?
As you know, Israel says it will respond and respond militarily to any future attack from Iran or its proxies for that matter. What does Israel want right now? How do you see it?
Well, I think there's what the prime minister wants in terms of the politics of the situation. And I think he would still like to be able to inflict much more damage on the Iranian ballistic missile capability, its inventories, and the like. But he's not in a position to make decisions. It's the president of the United States who's making the decisions. And I think the president at this point doesn't seem to want the Israelis to be involved. It's ironic that the Iranians don't seem to want the Israelis to be involved. The only way the Israelis become involved is if the president changes his mind and or the Iranians hit Israel. At this point, they're avoiding that. So I still think, even though within Israel, I think there's a strong sense that something could happen this week where Israel is drawn in. My sense at this point is that basically neither the United States nor the Iranians seem to want the Israelis involved, because I still think there's a desire, at least on the part of the president, to keep this more limited. I think we're going to see him try to strike a balance where he's going to do much more this week in the hopes that by hitting the Iranians even harder, with the blockade, they will come around and look for a way out. Now, whether we can get to that point right now, given the kind of zero-sum quality of each side wanting an outcome that the other can't really live with, that remains to be seen. But I still think we're seeing each side operate within certain limits. And the mediators may come up with something as things begin to look worse that allows each side to take a step back. That, I think, is the hope for the moment.
Oh, shit. Hold on. This is the liberal media bullshit, right? Liberal media wants this war to happen. They want it to happen in a big way. They, like liberals in America, want what's happening in Iran. They are opposing Donald Trump on it because he's not doing it the right way. The outcome is still the same. It's bipartisan. They want Iran to not be a problem anymore. That's it. That's the bipartisan stance in America. But ultimately, they are very aligned in violence against Iranians. And liberal media is very complicit in that. Let's look at what the Houthis have said in recent hours. The Houthis have closed the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, I believe. So let's take a look.
Turning now, significant breaking news literally happened moments before we just started. So let's go ahead and put this up here on the screen. Breaking, the Houthis of Yemen have announced a maritime embargo against Saudi Arabia, quote, effective immediately. Saudi Arabia has until now exported about 4.5 billion barrels per day from Yanbu in the Red Sea, most of it heading south through the Bab al-Mandeb Strait between Yemen and Djibouti. So this means,
Djibouti, still the best name for a country. Djibouti.
This has been the literal nightmare scenario. This has been a significant way for Saudi Arabia's economy to remain at least somewhat resilient through the Strait of Hormuz blockade, with both the Strait of Hormuz blockaded and the Bab al-Mandeb Strait for Saudi Arabian oil. This will significantly impact, as we said, 4.5 million barrels per day that were currently transiting through the Bab al-Mandeb Strait, and actually keeping the oil market at least somewhat afloat throughout this last 5-month period. Your reaction to the significance of this, and then, of course, building on the strategic problems for the United States and the world coming out of this announcement?
Well, absolutely. This is close to a worst-case scenario for how the war could escalate, because, the reason that the global economy is not imploded to the degree it could have because of the war is because there was this pressure valve in the Bab el-Mandeb and the Red Sea, but which a lot of the oil, not all of it, but much of it from the region could have been pumped from this pipeline across Saudi Arabia and then through the Suez and so forth, or down through Asia. That's now, theoretically, if this announcement holds and they really do enforce it, that option is closed now. And what also is happening is Saudi Arabia is being brought into war much more directly, whereas they've been somewhat more aloof from the conflict to date. And, I think this is now a situation where the global economies in Asia and Europe will be very existentially threatened on a short time frame. And the US also will be impacted very greatly. So the fact that the war even got to this point is very, very alarming. And the fact that the Houthis and the Iranians are now taking this step is very, very dangerous, because it suggests they themselves have now decided that the prospect of a negotiated solution is unlikely or almost impossible at this point, and they're using their own nuclear option here, or their own, one of the highest escalatory options that they had on the table that they had not deployed in the first few months of the war. And I think that the calculation is that if the U.S. cannot make a diplomatic agreement, if it's, can't be trusted, or they can't have a consensus in the U.S. system strong enough to push forward with the deal, then the only other option is to basically send a very, very strong deterrent message by destroying the global economy, destroying the U.S. economy, and basically laying down a marker that no president will ever want to do this again because it was so painful. If you can't make a deal, you can at least inflict that lesson. And it's a very painful lesson for people around the world, for people in America, people in Iran as well, will suffer a lot. But it seems like if they're closing the Bab al-Mandeb, they've decided that that's the only way out of the situation. Now, I still always hold out hope that every escalation will result in some sort of rapid diplomatic shifting. And there's some talks about proposals for a new 10-day deal between the U.S. and Iran, a pause in strikes to talk again. We'll see how those play out. But I think that this move by the Houthis suggests that the odds of that are quite slim, and really everyone is looking now towards the deterrence option, which will be very, very painful for everybody and could see some of those worst case scenarios with oil take place within the next month.
One part of the strategy.
Okay, yeah, this is let's keep moving. Let's check out what everyone else is saying.
Yemen's Ansarullah Houthis have declared a naval blockade against Saudi Arabia, set to take effect immediately. The Iran-backed group says the move is in response to a recent attack on Sana'a airport. A military spokesperson for the Houthis made the announcement based on the equation of an eye for an eye. The group also warned that any further escalation by Saudi Arabia would be met with a broader response.
في الخروج المليوني العظيم في جمعة التحذير والنفير.
The Yemeni Armed Forces announces a ban on maritime navigation for the Saudi enemy. According to the rules of a blockade, the siege will be implemented.
Oh my gosh, David Lammy has been sacked? And he's no longer the Justice Secretary or Deputy Prime Minister? Yeah!
Globalized intifada.
Well done, my boy.
देखा मैंने कितना अच्छा डांस करता है?
See you later, David Lammy. See you later, David Lammy. See you later, David Lammy.
So there we are.
Head of Mossad.
Yeah! Goodbye, David. Goodbye, David Lammy. Goodbye, buddy.
Reopening the Strait of Hormuz.
As soon as we have issued this statement, our people have the right to respond to a blockade with a block.
Hey, Pujol. Yeah, I'm gonna restart streaming during the daytime as well for a couple of hours and then a couple hours at night.
Blockade and escalation with escalation.
Who is that?
A moment.
He was the foreign secretary in the UK. David Lammy.
We'll speak to Zain Basravi in Doha for the Gulf reaction and our chief US correspondent Alan Fisher for White House reaction to these developments. But first, let's go to Youssef Mari in Sana'a. Youssef, talk us through the immediate impact of this Houthi announcement. How effectively can they actually enforce a naval blockade against Saudi Arabia? And what does this mean for Red Sea shipping lanes?
Well, let's not forget that 12 to 15% of global trade passes through the Red Sea, through Bab al-Mandeb. 8 to 10 million barrels of crude oil pass through Bab al-Mandeb. 4 million of those barrels are exported from Saudi Arabia. So it will have a tremendous impact on the global economy, not just the Saudi economy. But this is not just a blockade to prevent Saudi oil exporting. It's also going to prevent Saudi imports. Any company or any country that is importing goods, products to Saudi Arabia, that will also be blocked according to this naval blockade on all Saudi navigation.
Oh my gosh.
As we've seen.
They're blocking everything. This is massive.
In the previous blockade that was imposed by the Ansarullah Houthis on all Israeli shipments, it gradually went from just being a blockade to prevent Israeli imports and exports to the targeting of any shipping company, cargo shipping company that does business with Israel, which drastically impacted the Israeli economy. In fact, it led to the bankruptcy of 2 of its main ports, the port of Haifa and the port of Eilat in southern Israel. And this could very well be the formula that Saudi is heading in if negotiations are not successful in Oman. There is currently negotiations taking place between the Ansarullah Houthis and Saudi officials in Oman. If that will bear any fruit, we have to wait and see. But until there's some kind of compromise from either side, this blockade is only going to drastically increase the tensions between Yemen and Saudi Arabia.
And Yusuf, this escalation breaks a period of calm somewhat. I mean, can you give our viewers some context on how this came about? Specifically, how much of this is driven by the Houthis' alignment with Iran, as, of course, tensions continue to boil over with the US?
Well, the Houthis are making it very clear. They are strong allies with Iran. And this is, what started this conflict is, even before Saudi Arabia targeted Sana'a International Airport. Let's not forget, Saudi Arabia has been imposing a blockade on Sana'a International Airport since 2015, since the Ansar Allah Houthi takeover of the Yemeni capital, whereby they toppled the internationally recognized Yemeni government backed by Saudi Arabia. Basically, the position of Saudi Arabia is that the Ansar Allah Houthi group is an illegit Yemeni authority who should not be in power and who should not have control of Sana'a. They want to restore the Rashad al-Ulaimi government, but that government is stationed and is operating in the south of the country. Saudi Arabia wants to bring them back to take control of Sana'a and to take control of the areas that's under the control of the Ansar Allah Houthis. If Saudi Arabia does not get those political demands, according to the Houthis, this is the main reason why Saudi Arabia is imposing a naval and aerial blockade on any airport that's controlled or under the control of the Ansar Allah Houthis. So now you have a situation to where the Ansar Allah Houthis, who have hypersonic missiles, who have ballistic missiles, and who have drones, and who have targeted Saudi Arabia in previous rounds of conflict, basically saying that we're going to target Saudi airports just like they target Yemeni airports, and we're also going to impose a naval blockade against all Saudi navigation, just as they are imposing a blockade on Yemen.
Yusuf, many.
Oh my goodness! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Okay, man. Bab al-Mandab closed. Hormuzzi closed.
Reopening the Strait of Hormuz.
Oh my God! Hold on. And this is happening. This is just Bloomberg just reported this, by the way. Short bets against U.S. equities hit record. AI risks rise.
Our Bloomberg intelligence team, Tom, noted or out with a note today that says investors sold a record 30.5 billion of Korean equities in June, with July selling already nearing 8 billion and showing little signs of stopping. To you, what does this show to you? Or what is that an important sign?
Yeah, I think it's obvious. When I came on here late May, I said, the positioning with leverage in semiconductors and the Korean markets, and investors were cashing out of their life insurance policies to put money into SK Hynix. The SK Hynix.
By the way, just so you guys are aware, in 2021, Air New Zealand had to apologize for when it leaked that Air New Zealand had helped the Saudi Royal Air Force with their plane engines, I think it was, with their plane engines, while they were bombing Yemen. All these companies, man, honestly.
Two-time levered ETF is down 73% from the high. So that's pretty ugly out there. And look, the fundamentals can be great, but positioning on one side of the boat can tip over. And that's basically what's happened.
So stock not so bad, but down. But to be levered against it, that gets a little crazy. Is that your point, kind of ish? Or a little bit of both?
I think you've had a gambler's mentality in the market everywhere, and especially in Korea. But in the U.S., the short-term options markets, levered ETFs, it's just getting a little nuts.
The Kospi down about 30% just in the last month. We have a chart that shows what it's done over the last few months. I'm curious about not looking at that in a vacuum and looking at that in the context of the wider global market.
Oh my goodness. Copsy. Woo!
market and what you see as challenges that you think will come when it comes to AI CapEx?
This is a moment of huge significance. Like the moment that America bombed Iran, shit started spiraling. And in India, it was because of the gas, the reduction of gas supply. It's a domino effect, folks. It's a domino effect. And Donny Boy is just making it worse and worse and worse. Why do I feel we getting very, very, very close to the tipping point? We either about to be cooked or be cooking. I think both.
Well, I think it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when there's going to be CapEx cuts or perhaps just no growth given on the guidance.
Well, I think, of course we...
They're worried. Oh, they're worried. No growth? Bro, of course not. Because all of America's growth in the last calendar year / Q1 of this year has been all because of AI investments. Everything. If AI fucks up, and now with China releasing Kimi, oh my gosh, it will be a bath of rouge.
We could say that because this can't go on forever.
It could be this quarter. It could be, I think it'll be next quarter. And we're starting to already see some cracks when you see, Meta, SpaceX leasing out some of their compute. And that puts into question some frontier models in the US. If they have to lease out compute, which I will admit, it brings in a lot of money, which they need. Because
but you're saying they're leasing it out because they don't need it?
Possibly their models
and what is
aren't
that?
ready.
What story? Okay, so that tells a story about models not being ready.
Well, I think that Meta, for example, they've had some really good models recently, but I also think that they're still in the formation age of.
Oh, they're so cooked. Oh my gosh. The thing is, because everything's kind of, with this financing of AI, everything's linked, right? There are so many threads are connected in this. Like nobody knows at what point shit's gonna break, right? It's just it's so convoluted. There's no economist who can give you an answer. They're all so nervous, man. Watching Bloomberg is like watching like a hostage video or something.
Where they are, what their models look like. They brought on a lot of new people. It takes time.
Hi, Amira.
And a lot of discovery on what works and what doesn't work. And so just if they're giving, leasing out to Anthropic or others, I think it's a nice way to just bring in some revenue. And cash flows are down with all the hyperscalers. So there is going to be a wet blanket thrown on this market. I'm not sure which company it'll be. I mean, Oracle has some very high, lofty goals going into 2030. I think that's coming into question right now. I think that's going to be the issue in this quarter, perhaps.
Oracle's like over leveraged. Oracle might be the first company to capitulate to this because the amount of debt they have is just we were reading about it I think either earlier this year or end of last year. Wow. Oracle is just so over leveraged right now.
Next quarter, Goldman Sachs said that the first one that cuts CapEx is going to be the winner. And I don't know about that. But I think Alphabet will probably keep CapEx up. They raise.
Nah, they're not all like that. They're not all like that. Meta and Alphabet, like he said, they have enough cash to sustain. They're starting to get leverage, but they have cash coming in through different sources. Advertising being one of the main sources, but man, Oracle is struggling.
raised money. They have other businesses that generate income. So
yeah, you're bullish on Alphabet.
Yeah, I like the company a lot. I think that they're going to succeed with their Gemini. The Gemini is going to work with the consumer because they're going to be in Samsung
10X,
phones
I'm
with
not sure what the
Android
number was.
and iPhones. So I think that's really a big deal. Anthropic probably for enterprise right now where we stand, but still, that's where we are.
In terms of AI, so if we see with some of the big hyperscalers,
Oh my gosh, what is
less
this report?
CapEx spending, that's kind of a canary in the coal mine,
Thank you, Kes.
or at least a
I'll
red
check it out.
flag.
Well, back in the the tech bubble, it was when the CLECs and the
Morning, not the
telco
one.
companies said, "Hey, I think we've got enough Cisco equipment." They still were buying, but it just leveled off, and then everything started to, domino effect down the road, and that was Q3 of 2000, and it could be again this year. I think though that AI has a longer path, and I think that there's also going to be more disruption in other places. Particularly China.
Let's talk China.
Okay.
Because you're long China and Hong Kong technology. You sent some notes to our producer Talia that said you're buying Alibaba and others. Your Crane shares, CSI China Internet Fund, the iShares China Large Cap ETF. What attracts you to these stocks and to this market?
The China ETFs and Alibaba were down about 50% from their highs. The businesses are good. You have Alibaba, for example, they're taking a different approach than some of the other US companies. They're doing chips, they're doing AI models, they're doing the cloud, consumer AI, other apps that they're going to come out with, plus their core business.
Thank you,
which
So Human.
is okay, not great, but still it's there. China's going to do a stimulus, it sounds like. Nobody wanted these a few weeks ago. Nobody. I told everybody, buy these with two hands, and basically it was crickets. Nobody wanted them. And now they're up 20%, and you see Moonshot AI, which Alibaba has a 35% stake in. Alibaba has stakes in every big AI startup, as do Tencent and others. So I think that there's an open source roadmap that's going to be very popular for the next 6 months. And it's going to be disruptive for US AI companies, especially if the models are more efficient.
And
That means
cheaper.
Cheaper.
And still do what needs to be done.
Yeah, and you have risk of the US putting the brakes on people in the US using the Chinese models for whatever reason. I mean, I can name a couple of reasons.
Cost.
But the fact is, the AI models in the US are expensive. The token prices are still high for the major ones, Anthropic, OpenAI. And so if you have an alternative and it does the job, I think that's going to work.
Go ahead, Carol.
No, it's something we talked about on Friday. All of these well-known companies that are tapping into, I believe, the Chinese AI model. That's something we talked about.
So before we let you go, you're long China and Hong Kong tech. You made your case. You're also short a couple names or sectors. What are you short right now, very briefly?
I'm short Tesla going into the earnings. It's a smaller position, but I think they have, they're moving on 3 years of negative growth, and they have two.
Tesla, man. Elon is sitting on like eggshells. Elon's like Humpty Dumpty, man. He's sitting on a wall, and I foresee a great fall. All of his businesses are just on like it's just hype. It's just hype. It's insane. He's built everything on just hype.
Two cars that they basically sell that are getting stale. I think there's a long list of promises that haven't been kept from the CEO. I think that's going to be a question that people want answered. When is the robotaxi coming? When is the Optimus coming? When are they going to scale all these things? And they really haven't been able to do that.
Interesting take. Really, and I think an important perspective in terms of the overall conversation that we're having.
Oh my God, I see like a few more wrinkles here. Maybe she forgot her Botox today, but damn. She looking old. Okay. All of these self-driving vehicles are getting bad press and hate. Yeah. Elon's only real job is a hype man. I think it's all hype, guys. Honestly, there's so much hype around this stuff. There's so much hype around everything Elon is doing. It's scary as F, honestly. Okay, guys, I will call it there. I wanted to keep myself a 2-hour timer so that we get through as much as possible, and we're at 2 hours and 20. I could keep going, but I feel like if I hop back into that same model again, I'll just burn myself out again. So I am going to try and hard stop at 2 hours, okay? I'm going to try my best. But thank you so much, everybody. Maple Takes? Oh, we got Maple Takes is streaming. Okay, yeah, we can raid. Thank you so much. I will be back on again at night. Yeah, so I'll do 2 hours. I'll do 2 hours in the morning because I think I miss you guys, man. I miss everybody. I just miss everybody. Oh, gosh. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. And I will see you again tomorrow. If you're not on the evening live, I will see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was so good to see all of you. So good to see all of you. Don't forget, get on Discord, everybody. We need your help. It's great seeing you too, Julie. Please get on Discord. We need everybody. We need all hands. This is an organizing moment. We need the community on this one. Let's go. Get in there and let's get our hands dirty on this one. There's a lot to do, guys. There's a lot to do. Pet Ginger for us. Oh, he's heading to the vet today. He's in bad shape, guys. I don't know what's going to happen. He's in very bad shape right now. All right, everybody. Kakite Pomarie. Pomarie? Morena, I should say. It's not Pomarie. But yeah, it is Pomarie for a lot of you. So good night. Good morning, wherever you are. Thank you so much for being here with me. And I will catch all of you soon. Kakite, everybody. All right. Raiders, we're going to head to Maple Takes, okay? Heading to Maple Takes in 3, 2, 1. Enjoy the raid. Kakite, Twitch, Kakite. And take care. Take care, TikTok, Kakite, Free Palestine, and I will catch you again soon. TikTok, YouTube. I think Facebook is going. But Kakite, everybody. Take care. Free Palestine.